Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Or super cheeky of you, by the way. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Brave Kangaroo 591 from the Relationship Advice subreddit. It says, my boyfriend of 2 years, 31 male, says he can't marry me, 31 female, because of something he found in my phone. Dun dun dun. It says, hi everyone, sorry this is a bit long. I just want to give enough context. My boyfriend and I went out of town this weekend to celebrate our anniversary. We spent the day doing activities around the city, then went out to dinner. He's not much of a drinker, but since we were celebrating, he decided to have a few drinks. When we got back to the hotel, he was definitely drunk, but I still wanted to enjoy the night, so we started watching TV. Out of nowhere, he suddenly said, I went through your phone and saw that you cheated on your ex-fiancé. I could never marry someone like that. He also kept saying, I've known for a long time, I just never brought it up. If you want to be with me, you need to be honest. I was engaged back in 2014, and apparently he had gone way back through my phone and found old text messages and photos from that time. I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to messages and photos. I just never think to delete them. I have text messages going back to 2012. The thing is, everything he saw was from after my ex and I had already broken up. I tried to explain that, but he wouldn't listen. He started yelling and calling me awful names like whore and bitch. He kept saying that I was a terrible person and that he could never marry someone like me. It got so bad that when he went to the bathroom, I went downstairs and asked hotel security to help me get my things so I could leave safely. Security came up with me, and even then, he kept trying to convince me not to leave. Security had to tell him several times that he couldn't stop me if I wanted to go. I ended up going to a relative's house nearby for the night. Since then, he's been texting me non-stop, telling me I'm not marriage material, that I'm a bad person for leaving him there, and that he could never trust me. I'm honestly really hurt and confused. I've never cheated on him, or my ex for that matter. Does he have a right to be upset? Is this something worth trying to work through? So, this guy went through your phone and jumped to conclusions, then started verbally abusing you to the point where you had to go and get hotel security to get yourself out of there. And the guy's trying to gaslight you, saying that you're not marriage material. Cheeky bastard. When you're the one who was leaving an abusive situation, because that's what it was. What he was calling you is abusive. And quite simply, this isn't something you work through. This is your clue to get the fuck out of there ASAP. Anybody who needs to be physically prevented from stopping you from leaving is not someone you should be alone with again. Quite that simple for me. But no worries, mate says, honey, he's the one that's not marriage material. Dump forthwith. 2 kids, 3 cats says, and thank God he outed himself as a complete jackass before you actually did make things government official. No appointment says, you said that, I left. Why are you trying to argue with me, giving you what you want? Then stop responding. Snoo Lemon says, not even that. It's over, don't contact me again, then block on everything. Quiet Walk says, rethink everything. Put it in consideration. Don't marry someone like him. This dude is manipulative and controlling. Sorry that happened to you. Opie says, thank you for being kind. I know I need to leave. I just needed to hear it out loud. I wanted to call a friend or family member, but I really don't like getting them involved. I just needed to feel validated in my decision. News says, are you still out of town? Are you safe? Do you have a way to get back home without him? Are you guys currently living together? Sorry for all the questions, but he doesn't sound like a safe person to be around. Obi says that's another big concern for me. I'm back home, but we still live together. So OP did come back in with an update and said, first off, I want to thank everyone who reached out with support, kind words, and even alternative perspectives, even the tough or negative ones. Your feedback truly helped me see things for what they were. Now for some context about what he found in my phone. Back in 2014, I was engaged. He came across pictures of me with another man taken in early 2015. someone who obviously wasn't my fiance. Since he didn't know when my ex and I had broken up, he jumped to the conclusion that I cheated. I'm not saying that excuses his reaction, but I wanted to clarify the situation. It honestly just seems like self-sabotage. He can honestly never let himself be happy in our relationship. There's always been like this, and I should have seen this as a red flag from the beginning. When I got home on Sunday morning, I took some time to process everything and figured out my next steps. I followed your advice and called my mum and best friend. They were both incredibly supportive and helped me think clearly. I decided to go back to my hometown for a few days to give him space and time to move out. On Saturday night, during one of his angry texts, he mentioned he'd be out of the house by Thursday. On Sunday night, I locked myself in my bedroom while he slept on the couch. I even kept my phone under my pillow, just in case, but thankfully, everything was uneventful. He leaves early for work, so this morning I packed my things and left. My plan was to stay gone until Thursday when he could move out. But I'll be honest, and I know some of you guys might shake your heads, I couldn't leave without knowing I'd proven the truth. I went through my Google photos and old messages and found the final conversation between me and my ex-fiancé, which confirmed what I already knew. We broke up at the end of 2014. I never cheated. So I sent him a long message. I told him I was done and that I did in fact expect him to be out by Thursday. I also told him there was no undoing the things he said or how he treated me, and that I was finally at peace knowing I told the truth and that I hadn't cheated on him or anyone else. I also included the screenshots of the final text message between me and my ex confirming the timeline. He read the message and immediately tried to backtrack, saying, "We both hurt each other and need time to process things." But there's really nothing left to say. He was completely wrong, and now that he knows it, he's trying to walk it all back. I'm not standing for that. He's so delusional that he feels like he can gaslight me into believing that I hurt him in some way over something that happened a decade ago. And I didn't even know him. He did apologize for calling me out of my name, but that's nowhere near enough. I feel strong in my decision to leave, knowing I did everything I could in that relationship. I'm so thankful for all of you who offered encouragement and advice during such a dark time. It truly helped me find my strength again. I know I probably should have just let him think whatever he wanted to, but I just couldn't help myself. Now that I'm safe and away from him, I can answer any other questions you might have. I hope I didn't miss anything. And people did have things to say after this. Jojo Monster says, just make sure you don't end up taking him back out of pity or anything. He's shown his true colors and he clearly is going to try and manipulate you to coming back to him. Stay clear, block him, and move on. Opie says, thank you for that. As I sat with myself, I really came to realize, even if his timeline of events was true, that didn't give him a right to disrespect me and call me out of my name. That's something I will never be able to get past because that's truly how he feels about me. Jojo replied saying, absolutely, it's toxic. There's a way to have a disagreement and argument, but still be respectful to each other about it while expressing yourselves. Keep in mind for future partners. Shiny Artist says, and quoting what he said, that we both hurt each other, saying, implies you standing up for yourself as you hurting him. What a joke. Don't fall for the crocodile tears or love bombing. I have a strong feeling that he will love bomb you, but bad patterns will just repeat themselves. Opie says, yep, not excusing any of his behavior from Saturday night. But even after you sober up, you're still trying to make yourself the victim. That tells me everything that I need to know. And instead of manning up and giving a sincere apology, you'd rather try to make both of us at fault. Working Mountain says in quotes, the we hurt each other bit again and says, excuse me? When did you hurt him? He hurt himself by going through your phone's decade-long history, almost as if to find something, anything to pin you down with. You're so better off without that dead weight dragging you down. Opie says exactly, like how manipulative can you be? You hurt yourself by going to look for something to fit your narrative, and when you found something over a decade ago you thought you could use against me, you waited until you were drunk to tell me how you really felt about me. Lol, it's literally comical the way this is unfolding. And like the comments were saying, there's no way he's going to change anytime soon with the we both hurt each other comment, is that he's not taking any responsibility for it. So, you know, absolute bullet dodged in this situation. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Our next story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Expensive Opinion 952 and says, my brother-in-law is the reason why my husband left me. I don't know what to do now. I, female 38, met my brother-in-law, male 38, at uni. He asked me out in our first year and I refused. He called me the C word and that I am shallow. My best friend told me that it was harmless comments from a drunken guy who got rejected. I never thought myself shallow. It was his demeanor and awkwardness that was off-putting to me. Anyway, he proved my friend right, and other than these comments, I've never felt uncomfortable during my uni years because he never bothered me again. Not even looked my way. Next time I met him was when my baby sister, female 28, introduced him as her boyfriend. I didn't even recognize him at first because it was like 9 to 10 years since that day he talked to me. He was visibly annoyed that I didn't recognize him and called me a liar. The family was skeptical at first about him, but he seemed to treat my sister right and she seemed happy. He is very rich, taking her all over the world, and he seemed kind with it too. They got married after a year of dating. They have 3 children. I met my now ex, male 45 years ago, and the only odd comment from my brother-in-law was that I was still as shallow and superficial as I was in uni. At the time, I thought it was a joke, but in hindsight, when I found out the truth and started thinking back and looking for red flags, this was probably a big one. He never showed any signs that he disliked my husband, and he was always decent enough, and his indifference to have a close friendship with my husband and I didn't seem odd because he was always a recluse. A year ago, my husband came home and accused me of cheating, and he had evidence. The guy contacted him and he had nudes etc. of me on his phone. The guy told my husband that he didn't know at first that I was married, but as soon as he found out, he contacted my now ex. He even apologized to my husband. I've never met this guy in my life. Nothing I said or did made my husband believe me. He left me, and our divorce is pending. Then yesterday, that guy contacted me. He apologized for what he did and told me that he is friends with my brother-in-law. He sent me conversations, endless conversations my brother-in-law had about me for 3 years. He has never forgotten that I, in his words, didn't give him a chance and only judged him by his looks. He called me the C word in that chat. Both group chats with his friends, but mostly with this guy. They planned this attack and my brother-in-law somehow got access to my photos. The reason this guy contacted me now is that he felt guilty because even when my marriage is over, my brother-in-law still was angry and hateful, especially when he heard that I was on a date last weekend. So the friend felt that he didn't help his friend but ruined innocent people's lives. Not sure what to do. My brother-in-law has actually been happier and more sociable than usual since my divorce, and now I know why. Although first I thought he felt sorry and wanted to support me. He jokes about me ending up an old maid with cats as companions. Don't sound like jokes anymore. He meant them. I don't want to ruin my sister's life. She's very happy with her husband. I'm not sure either if I can with her husband. I'm not sure if I should tell my ex or not. I'm very heartbroken that he didn't believe me. Love him very much. He's the love of my life, but I'm not sure if I can forgive him for not believing me. But he is a victim in this too. So maybe he needs to know for closure. I'm so terribly sad and hurt. I'm sorry this post got very long. Now for me in this situation, I just feel like something needs to happen because nothing's going to stop him from doing it in the future. He doesn't like seeing you happy and he wants to ruin any happiness that you have. So it's absolutely fucking wild. And everyone needs to know what kind of person this is. This guy is mad and your sister deserves to know who she's married to. Yeah, it could cause some major damage and likely will. But she's married to someone who spent years trying to destroy her own sister's marriage out of spite. That is wild. I think the ex deserves to know the truth if you can face that as well, because I get that OP's really hurt that she wasn't believed, but the guy was presented with some convincing evidence by the sounds of it. I don't know. I always find this sort of stuff difficult. But basically, this guy was weaponized in someone else's revenge fantasy, if you like. And the whole family deserves to know because this man's been sitting around at family gatherings, being this Mr. Nice Guy and all this kind of stuff, all while all this shit is going on in the background. And that is crazy to think about. I think all you have to remember is that this guy caused this in the end. But Wine says, It wouldn't shock me if this guy found your sister and is dating her just to remain close to you. Feels too coincidental that he somehow popped back up into your life and then got mad that you didn't remember him. Opie says, I feel so too. It makes it even worse. Girl in a red costume says, yes, you should tell your sister her husband is crazy. Yes, you should clear your name with your ex, even if you don't want to go back to him. You should also go to the police over your pics he shared without consent. Opie says, I will be honest. I'm terrified. Unreasonable Teapot says you should tell them. This is beyond normal petty stuff. What will he do next if he's not stopped now? If you get married again, will he pull the same crap? Your sister deserves to know who she married, and your ex deserves to know he was conned. I wouldn't be able to forgive him for not believing me either, but he does deserve to know what happened. But be ready to have every backup for this, because he will try to discredit you. Long Jumping Cook says, I understand that you're hurt your husband didn't believe you. But it sounds from your post he had what he thought were hard and condemning evidence. For many people, it can shake their trust to the core. I think you should tell your ex, or soon-to-be ex if I understand correctly, and your sister the truth. Partially because you'll be able to fix your image as the cheater. But think about them too. Your sister needs to know who she's married to. He's an obsessive and vindictive guy that still harbors such deep resentment to his now sister-in-law who rejected him once like 15 years ago. To the point that he keeps bad-mouthing you to his friends and destroyed your marriage. Your husband believes his wife cheated on him. That can be traumatic for most people. It's not fair to let him think he was betrayed like that by someone he loved. He deserves to know the truth so he won't be hurt as much. And maybe, if you want to, it can be a reason to pause the divorce proceedings and think about the future with the truth in mind. Maybe go to couples counseling and try to fix your marriage. One more comment which says, you crazy? This guy is crazy. Imagine that kind of hate for being rejected. Send that to your family chat, to your ex, to everyone. Can you imagine what he might be doing to your sister behind closed doors? Also, this could be something he could be sued for. I would talk to the friend to see if he's ready to sign a testimony about all of this. So it was 2.5 months later after that post that OP came in with her update and says, I'm sorry that I've been gone for too long and I'm overwhelmed by the support that you have given me here. Some of you are still asking about me. I don't know where to start. I've been in constant pain and stress about everything that happened, but my brother-in-law is now exposed to everyone about what he did to me. For those of you who think that he is in love with me, he isn't. He very much hates my guts and has done since the day I rejected him. Hate is also a driving force and not only love. So for the stupid users that I would like to call losers who made fun of me about bragging about a man not being over me in 20 years, that's not it. If this is bragging, then you're actually very sick in the head. Unfortunately, I was sent these comments from a different sub about updates. What a bunch of losers. I was in constant fear that my brother-in-law will be hurting my sister because of me, and I'm not certain if he will. But that was the only reason I've been apathetic. I wasn't sure what the right step was with people like him. He has hidden his hatred so well for so long, so what more is he capable of? I didn't want my sister and her children to be the collateral damage. That's why I have to be careful. I'm sorry to disappoint you by not being the strong bad bitch. I have other priorities. My sister and I finally talked. I love her and her children very much. She seemed just very hurt and questioning her entire marriage, and who can blame her? I tried the baby steps approach. I wanted her to know that I was there for her, and I was honest with her about my worries about her and her children with a man like him. It worked for a while and I was being hopeful, but something changed, and it probably had to do with her husband giving her an ultimatum. Divorce or cut your family off. She chose her marriage. It broke my parents and me, but I don't think we can do anything about it. It is her own choice, even if we believe it is coerced. But maybe there's this little chance that she knows him better than we do. There's a little hope that he's a better person towards his family. I'm clinging onto that hope. She wrote us to tell us to forget she and her children existed, and that they will take legal action if we ever try to contact them. Brother-in-law deleted all his social media accounts, and his friends apparently all want nothing to do with him. I've heard he is planning on leaving the city because everyone knows what he did now, and he is having a hard time with it. He barely leaves the house, and he has been shamed, even at work. My ex-husband and I are moving on with a divorce. I don't blame him for believing the rumors, but at the same time, I wish he knew me better like I thought he did. That I would never do such a thing and cheat on him. I'm so sorry that he moved back for me and probably was hoping that we could give it another chance, but I can't. He has apologized so many times and said so many times that he never truly believed the rumors. But I think I've started to think that our marriage wasn't strong enough to overcome a rumor. It is nobody's fault, but I thought our love was stronger than it actually was. I think we both thought that. I started dating a new guy a few weeks before all this started, after over a year of me not even being able to leave bed. He has seen all of this unfolding and he's been very patient and supportive. I think I have a real shot at happiness now. At least he knows everything and is well prepared in case my brother-in-law isn't done with me yet. Thank you for reading all this, and thank you again for being there for me. And OP came in with another update, which was 1.5 years later after the last one. It said, I can't believe you guys are still DMing me on almost a weekly basis about my situation with my sister and ex-husband. I'm so sorry for not answering you, but I have not been here since in almost 2 years now. Here is my update. I have moved away. It was the best thing I could do for my sanity. This was after my brother-in-law cornered me after work one day, demanding that we could talk. He would not let my arm go, and I even had a blue mark on my wrist from where he held me. I felt terrified and started crying. He asked me to take everything back because he is losing his reputation and people are calling him a creep and an incel, and to give him a chance to talk because I've never given him a chance because I am a C. A colleague called the police, but nothing happened afterwards. I reported harassment and it was dismissed. There was no ground for PO either. My sister wants nothing to do with me. She has also participated in saying that I did cheat, and I guess she's saving face with her husband. My parents weren't allowed to talk to her at first, but now they have a good relationship again, under the condition that they cut me off, which they did. I don't blame them. She has her children, and honestly, she and her children are in more need of protection than me. I haven't seen my mum in about a year. I miss my sister and her children, and my parents, but that's that. My ex-husband and I have finalized our divorce. It was the best decision for us, even though my brother-in-law won. He didn't win though. He is still hateful and bitter. I told him and my sister that whatever happens to me will never be enough for his ego because he will always be angry that he never had me. This was what made my sister block me for good and my parents to take her side. I don't blame them. Now I'm living in a new city with my boyfriend. I have no contact with any of my family. My ex said that I ruined his life. I hope he forgives me too, but I never ruined anything on purpose. I'm starting to find happiness again. My new job is amazing. I still have my friends back home on top of the new friends I made here. My boyfriend is amazing, supporting me in all this. His family has become my family, and they took me in with open arms. We live closer to them now. Brother-in-law has never tried to contact or talk about me again. I guess all is well now. I hope you had some comments with some additional information on the back of it and says, I'm child free. That's one of the reasons, I guess, because if there was a chance I would have had children. I don't think they would have wanted to burn this bridge. Opie also says it was easy. It was either that or my sister and her children are left to the mercy of a man that's capable of doing anything. I don't fault them, my mother especially. She knows I'm strong. Another one saying if OP would forgive their family. OP says not my sister, but I'd welcome my parents back. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. One gave them grandchildren. I think we need to be grandparents to see how hard it is to live without them. Especially when they're aware that their dad is a terrible human being capable of doing anything. But I will never forgive my sister. Another commenter says he is dangerous and cowardly, which makes him even more dangerous when he came to my workplace. He tried to run away when the police came, and he also tried to run away when my ex-husband went to confront and beat him up. Someone was questioning why the ex-husband is mad with OP, and OP says it's very complicated, but he left his girlfriend and moved back, thinking we would reconnect. It didn't happen. OP is much more forgiving than I would be in a situation like this, especially towards her parents, I think. You know, everyone has abandoned OP in this situation from something that she did absolutely nothing. She's just being there, existing. She's lost literally everything because one guy couldn't handle his own feelings. I'm glad in some ways that there are some small silver linings for OP, that she got the hell out of there and has started fresh. She's got a boyfriend who knows the full story, giving her the support that she actually deserves. And I'm glad that the brother-in-law's reputation is absolutely on fire by the sounds of it, because he deserves much more than that. But also, the reality of this is that the sister is in danger by the sounds of it. If we look back at what this man did, he planned this multi-year revenge because he was rejected once. And then he's physically grabbed her at work while calling her all sorts of names again. You know, his behavior isn't de-escalating, it's escalating in some ways. He's gone from name calling to going to a workplace to grabbing her. And I'm so glad that OP towards the end was like, you know, he didn't win, because he's still a miserable, obsessive, bitter arsehole, whilst OP herself is actually building her life back up. And I can only think one day the other side of things is going to absolutely blow up. And quite frankly, I hope OP never looks back. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. And don't forget, at the very end, there'll be a couple of playlists there that you can click on, automatically scroll through these videos for you. They'll be down in the description as well. And thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.
Brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows.